Hey, enough of it. Glad you can join us, and welcome to the P.G.M show.
Well, hello and welcome to the P.G.M show. I'm your host, Hirogo Mikada. Welcome to The Last of Us, episode 7. Yes, I wanted to dispense with doing this on Mondays. I can't get it on Mondays out to people quick enough. Absolutely quick enough. I know, call me lazy, call me anything you want, but just don't call me Shirley. Sorry. I digress. This episode is, again, and I'm gonna be biased, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It is named Left Behind, so let's talk about it, shall we? The game and the TV series. Okay, Left Behind. Left Behind is in the game, it was a separate story in the game. You can play it as a separate story in the game. But really, it ties into when Joel gets injured by one of the factions around where they are, around the university. So, at this stage, Ellie is trying to wake up Joel from his status in shock, in pain, and excruciating pain because of this wound he's got. So with the wound now being taken out of his side, and we really see Ellie having trouble coming to terms with it. What's she gonna do? And then really, I only actually played this separate piece of the game probably only once, would you believe? But anyway, nevertheless, the game and the whole game, where again Joel is messed up, and Ellie has to actually help Joel in maybe trying to find some way of stitching him up. And jumping into the HBO original series of The Last of Us, we see this episode 7 in conjunction with that. And it really is in conjunction with the game, because in the game, Ellie also stitches Joel up. But really, in the series, in this episode, we don't see that. What we see the story unfold where Ellie is in the office because she's just had a go at another student or a cadet or young cadet from Federa, and then she is in the office of the officer or the lieutenant or sergeant, whatever, running the whole show of these cadets. And he gives Ellie a choice, 2 choices, whether to go down the right path or whether to go down the wrong path, which leads you to crap jobs and a crap life. And the right job and the right choice is you do well, you step up, you go up at level, and you get a better life. And what is really a better life is not really a better life, because this is a post-apocalyptic sense of the word. Everybody's trying to survive, and all these kids are trying to survive. So, they've been trained to actually overtake these cities and overtake everybody as a military force, and that's what they're going to be trained for, is to take over the cities. And half of them probably get killed because really no, the factions are rising, and the factions around the cities or around that city are getting more and more vicious as probably as the days go by. But we see, well, you see who take the good choice anyway. So she takes the keys. This is in the HBO series. In the game, it's I think where it starts, in my recollection, I could be right, totally wrong. You can comment down below, please do. I would love you to. Anyway, in the game sense of the word, I think she's asleep. So in this episode, they've got that right. So in the game, she's Ellie's asleep, and in comes Riley, her friend from the Fedra cadet camp, and she's been gone for 3 weeks. Now, she comes in and scares Ellie, and Ellie thinks she's got bitten or got attacked by a clicker or affected probably. But, it's just Riley. She's a good friend. And in this part, she's basically a good friend. And really, they talk about the bullying sense and the Ellie taking it out on this other girl who really is bullying Ellie for, well, they're probably be a little bit different. I don't know. But Ellie, she takes it out on the girl, and she's probably worse off. But anyway, Riley has this ingenious plan to get Ellie out of out of the place that she's in, which is a dormitory almost. And she goes with Riley and jumps over buildings and down buildings and through little side streets and into this mall they go to. So it's a little bit an adventure to get there because they're jumping building over buildings and over buildings and over buildings to get to this mall, which is being boarded up. This title, Left Behind, is a really sad and lonely title. Left Behind, she says it too, actually, when she's before this all happened. In the previous episode, that she left everything behind. She left so many people behind. She left her first love, her first friend, and they were only kids as well. She left a whole life behind, a whole kid, being a kid behind, having kid friends behind. In this post-apocalyptic world of, again, darkness, survival, it's apparent you're going to leave people behind. Even when they're clickers or infected or even bloaters, no one's really there, but they gestate. No one's there, no psychology aspects to it. There's nothing to it. There's no where's, why's, buts, how, who's. People ask those questions, but it's a whole new life. If you get what I mean, I'm trying to actually get what actually I mean, or I'm talking about is there's no life affirming, not in this world that they are now in. That this whole left behind. She's left behind someone she's loved. She's left behind in the fact that they're sitting there right now, right this minute, bitten by a affected person and waiting out this whole story of their lives. Now we all know, there's no really spoiler in this, we all know that Ellie wakes to actually see her friend become affected, and it affects her because she's attacked by her friend Riley. And in this, we don't see it this episode, but I hope I see it in episode 8, and episode 8's now here, so you've already seen it before I do. So really invokes sadness, horror, the realness of Ellie, has to live with being immune and having that whole horror sense of the word of being immune, because she's bitten, she won't get infected like her friend. So really, they've got choices, and I love this. And getting back to this Left Behind episode, even on the HBO series, it just mimics and mirrors and really speaks to everyone that Druckmann and Mason really took an account of the game and really found a beautiful sense of the game and the episode and how this was going to be told. Am I babbling? Probably. I am babbling. Am I making sense? Probably not. But if I am getting through and making sense of this beautiful episode, shockingly sad episode on Riley and Ellie's relationship, and it all comes down to really this: Left Behind, first love, first real friend out of everything she's left behind. And in this, invoking also Joel's wound, that she will not leave Joel behind. And you see in the game that she set up almost a transport for Joel to actually travel behind the horse and just get him out of that house and into somewhere safe, because we are entering where David is pretty soon. I could actually go into the HBO series episode 7, but really, this is probably going to be the shortest one I've ever done on this HBO series. This episode is just, if I can stop saying episode, I will continue. It's really just the same. Basically, it's just the same, with slight changes here and there, but it tells the story the same way. The game, there's a game essence to it, where Ellie and Riley are running away and killing infected in the game. In the episode, it's really running away from one infected who wakes up because he hears a noise, and so he's present at the last instance of this episode. And basically, when they get bitten, the questions arise, and what are the choices? And that's really what happens in the game also. So really, there is choices. They've got 3 choices, and that's 1, to take their own lives, 2, to actually wait and see what the outcome is, and I think we all know what the outcome is. And 3, there's really no third option. I think she gives it, but really they can't really do it. It's just impossible. Anyway, and I could just absolutely leave it there. I probably will. There's not really much in this episode to talk about, because it's so uncanny and so well done and so well rounded that it really mirrors the game essence, except for that part of the game, accept that part for the series. You don't see Riley and Ellie run away and then fight for their lives, but you do see it in one instance in where they are dancing on a counter where they're just having fun, and really that's the whole episode, is that they're out to have fun. Because really, and I will mention this, I won't stop it there, I'll continue, because Riley is leaving. That's the whole, almost a little bit of a turning point, because that Ellie doesn't want Riley to go, but Riley basically has to go because she's now a Firefly. That surprises Ellie, because that she thought that they were going to stay together for a long time in the cadetship of Fedra, but really Riley got, and let's say, incorporated by chance to be a Firefly. Now she's a Firefly. She hasn't been in the cadet place of Fedra for 3 weeks, and then she turns up out of the blue and then tells Ellie that she's now a Firefly and now she has to go. The whole, almost the conflict of that is that when they take their first kiss, Ellie, I'm saying this in brief, Ellie changes Riley's mind, saying that no, she'll stay with Ellie now. And then the whole incident arises where Ellie gets bit first, and then Riley gets bit a second, and then the whole questions arise, the choices arise, and Riley saying that we can do this or that or this, and it really is a waiting game. So it's a lovely story. Again, I'm repeating myself, and I do apologise. I love bringing this to you. It's going to be a shorter one for this episode 7 of The Last of Us HBO original series, plus the game. But there's really nothing to actually talk about in the big changes to the scenes or to the game scenes, if you get what I mean. So again, if you haven't seen it, go and watch episode 7. Episode 8 is now on HBO Max, I think, and this side of the world is Neon. It's a beautiful, beautiful story. Absolutely fantastic music, where the composer of Last of Us game has been doing the score for the TV series, and it's just so beautiful, haunting, because it is a haunting story. It's a sorrowful, brutal, survival, sad, left behind story. And on that note, I bid you adieu. I've been Peter Gordon McKinnon. You've been listening to this episode 7 of The Last of Us HBO's original series, plus the game, on the P.G.M show. Until next time, and yes, I'm not going to do it on Mondays. It's getting a little bit hectic here for me in this part of the world, New Zealand, so I will be doing this Last of Us podcasts or vlogs or whatever you want to call them, any day of the week. I've changed my mind. Any day of the week, and I can, because it's my channel. But anyway, I just want to say this: take care out there. I'll say it better. Take care out there, wherever you are. Stay safe, please. Again, wherever you are. And God bless you, everyone. God bless you, everyone. Sorry. And God bless you, everyone. And until then, I'll see you later.